viewers in Nigeria and around the world, you're welcome to Global TV's Midday News, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. The Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project has urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to publicly instruct the former governors who are now serving as ministers in his administration to stop collecting life pensions, exotic cars, and other allowances from their state while they serve as ministers. The following former governors are now ministers in the Tinubu administration: Badru Abubakar, Yemso Wike, Bello Metawale, Adegboyega Oyetola, and David Umahi. Others are Simeon Lalong Atiku, Bagudu, and Ibrahim Gedam. Seraph urged him to instruct the former governors to immediately return any pension and allowances that they may have collected since leaving office to the public treasury. In a letter dated 19th August 2023 and signed by Seraph Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadari, the organization said the appointment of the former governors who collected life pensions while serving as ministers is implicitly forbidden by the Nigeria Constitution 1999 as amended and the country's international legal obligations. Ahead of Monday's swearing-in ceremony of members of the Federal Executive Council, FEC, 45 ministers designate have begun their documentation at the Office of Secretary to the Government of the Federation, OSGF, in Abuja. The exercise, which was ongoing Saturday afternoon, followed the assignment of portfolios to the ministerial appointees by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday. The Senate had Newton Monday confirmed the appointment of 45 ministerial nominees out of a list of 48 names forwarded to it for confirmation by President Tinubu. The Senate withheld confirmation of the appointment of 3 nominees, namely Nasiru El-Rufai from Kaduna State, Stella Okiotete from Delta State, and Abubakar Sani Danladi from Taraba State, over security concerns. Also, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has pledged his administration on allowed commitment to leveraging on the domestic utilization, processing, and international export of Nigeria measures, gave gas resource as a transition fuel to catalyze the fundamental restructuring of the nation's economy for expansive growth during his tenure. In a meeting with the board and management of Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG) Limited at the State House, President Tinubu affirmed that all encumbrances to the entrepreneurial progress and development of Nigeria's industrial citizens, as well as any further impediment to business practice in the oil and gas sector specifically, will be swiftly removed to create more opportunities for Nigeria companies and international partners to thrive on the natural and human resource wealth which God had bestowed upon the nation. Our correspondent has the details. President Tinubu affirmed the position of natural gas as Nigeria's gateway to sustainable development and prosperity, pledging to build a partnership with investors that will guarantee job opportunities and skill development for Nigerian youth in the overriding best interest of the oil and gas producing environment. In his remarks, the chairman of the board told the president that the infrastructures faced by non-government stakeholders in operations were being collectively shared with the government and that the communities should play a greater role in ameliorating the situation, noting that issues of trust between investors and host communities must be properly handled with an emphasis on end-to-end process inclusivity.
For us, just 2 words will describe it: security and gas supply. They go together. That will unlock more gas to plants. We can produce at a higher capacity and we make more revenue. We pay our taxes, huge amounts of taxes and dividend declarations. All that will have an upshot if we can tackle those 2 major problems.
The delegation congratulated the president for winning the 2023 presidential elections and setting the tone early and aggressively with bold and correct long-term reforms which will transform the Nigerian economy within a short period of time. Still on the news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has met with the governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, at the presidential villa, Abuja. Although the meeting was behind closed doors, it was gathered that they discussed the development and security in Enugu State. Recall that Governor Mba recently expressed the eagerness of its administration to collaborate and partner with the federal government and international agencies. He equally expressed the vision to transform Enugu from a public sector to a private sector-driven economy and also raise the state's GDP from the present $4.4 to $430 billion through private sector investment. Uba had met with the World Bank country director of Nigeria, Shuban Chowdhury, on Wednesday at the bank's country office in Abuja and equally participated in the National Economic Council NEC meeting presided over by the Vice President Kashim Shettima on Thursday. The last time the Enugu State governor visited the president to discuss the issue of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Nnamdi Kanu, and requested for his release from detention. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said there are no instant solutions to the country's raging problem, while reiterating his appeal to them to bear with the country in a view of the pains occasioned by removal of petrol subsidy, giving assurances that the country would eventually surmount its current challenges. The president spoke in Abuja at the unveiling of Brutally Franklin, a 688-page autobiography of former Federal Commissioner for Information and South-South leader, Chief Edwin Clark. President Tinubu said the solution to Nigeria's problem cannot be like instant, noting that what the country was going through is akin to the pain of childbirth, which ultimately becomes merriment. He expressed optimism that the palliative being rolled out by the federal government would help in softening the hardship and trauma. Also, Abdulrasheed Bawa, the suspended chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, has refused to hire a legal representative despite being confined in the custody of the Department of State Services for exactly 67 days since June 14, 2023. Bawa, who is currently held in the custody of the DSS in Abuja, is being probed for alleged financial impropriety. Under his watch, the spokesperson for the DSS, Dr. Peter Afunaya, is yet to respond to an inquiry by journalists concerning the development. It was gathered that the suspended EFCC boss refused to answer any queries brought before him by the secret police. Bawa has refused to get a lawyer to represent him in court or request for his release from custody on bail. He has also refused to write any statement or answer any question posed at him by several operatives that have queried him in detention. Also, the Nigeria Bar Association has set up an ADHOC committee to investigate the suspended resident electoral commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Adamawa State, Hudu, Yunusa Ari, and a young lawyer in Aba, Ifunanya Grant, why Yunusa Ari was petitioned over his role in illegally declaring the results of the supplementary 2023 governorship election in Adamawa State as votes were still being counted. The complaint against Ms. Grant centered on her social media notoriety of posting pictures and videos of herself unclothed and smoking marijuana. A statement issued on Saturday by the National Publicity Secretary of the NBA, Akorede Lawal, indicated that the decision was reached by the National Executive Committee of the NBA during its recent monthly meeting presided over by its president, Yakubu Michael San, and attended by all national officers of the NBA. Also, the former Nigeria's president, Goodluck Jonathan, is to lead a joint observer mission of the African Union, AU, and Common Market for East and Southern African COMESA for the Zimbabwe's general election scheduled for August 23. A statement by AU Commission person Musa Muhammad Mahamat said Jonathan will leave Abuja on Saturday along with a team comprising of 73 short-term observers and 3 core teams of electoral experts who would be involved in the election observation activities from August 16 to 29 in the Eastern African country. The duties of the mission includes observing the degree to which the conduct of the election meets regional, continental, and international standard for democratic election. Mahamat said the observer team is expected to offer recommendations for improvement of future elections based on the findings, demonstrate a solidarity and support towards Zimbabwe's election and democratization process to ensure that the conduct of the democratic, credible, and peaceful election contributes to the solidation of democratic governance, peace, and stability in the country. It said the mission would be guided by AU and COMESA statutes governing the holding of elections, whose aim is to promote good governance among other democratic tenets. The team would engage with several stakeholders and observe the final preparation and polling process and issue its preliminary statement after the election date. He added that with the new assignments, the former Nigeria leader is leading a 4th AU election observation mission, having led electoral observatory duties in Tanzania, Mozambique, and Zambia. In a bid to create a forum for dialogue towards resolving issues surrounding the petrol subsidy removal across the state, the National Economic Council (NEC) has constituted an ADHOC committee to engage with the leadership of labor unions. The decision was reached at the 135th meeting of NEC chaired by the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima. In Abuja, our correspondent completes the story. The committee comprises the Nigeria Governors Forum Chairman Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, Governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, Chairman of Progressive Governors Forum Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, PDP Governors Forum Chairman Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, and Abia State Governor Alex Oti. According to Governor Zulum of Borno State, the Vice President charged the committee to liaise with the leadership of labor unions in the country to find a way forward on the emerging issues in the interests of the nation.
The Council has also tasked the state to dialogue with the labor unions leadership. A committee made up of Anambra State Governor, NGF Chairman, and others have been nominated to interface with labor. The most important thing that the Council has taken note is that all these palliatives that are being mentioned now are temporary solutions. Council has decided to invest on medium and longer term sustainable solutions that will ensure availability of food and non-food items in Nigeria, especially investing in commercial agriculture and also investing in irrigated agriculture. NEC is calling on Nigerians and indeed labor to become law-abiding, as the President is determined to address the issues at hand.
While noting various interventions of the federal government across the country, the Council urged states to upscale the distribution of palliatives towards alleviating the suffering of citizens, especially vulnerable groups. Thank you very much. Still the midday news on Global Television. And now the President's chairman of Council of CIBN, Ken Okpara, stated at the 2023 Lagos Bankers Night with the team exchange rate unification, global implication, organization and the country on Friday night in Lagos, said that the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for unifying the Naira exchange rate to save the country from financial crisis. According to him, the institute has always advocated transparency and a free market that would allow the interplay of supply and demand. He said the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria totally supports the Central Bank of Nigeria's reform as it relates to the unification of the exchange rate and other measures basically taken to ensure the true value of the Naira. As a matter of fact, they have been advocating for this, and they have seen that the efforts the Central Bank of Nigeria has initiated is already yielding dividend. Also, the Lagos State Governor has declared Monday, August 21st, as work-free day for all public servants in the state to commemorate the year's Isheshe's Day. The Isheshe's Day has been set aside in Lagos to celebrate the indigenous Yoruba culture and traditions, as well as the preservation of the Yoruba heritage. This disclosure is contained in a circular issued by the Lagos State Head of Service, Akim Muri-Okonola, where he noted that this year's Isheshe's Day celebration will hold on Sunday, August 20th, 2023. Muri-Okonola is a circular further stated that the declaration of work-free day by Governor Sanwo-Olu is a reaffirmation of his commitment to continue to provide necessary support to traditional institutions in the state with a view to promoting their indigenous culture and tradition while preserving their heritage. The circular announced that all state workers are expected to resume work at 8 a.m. prompt on Tuesday, August 22nd. Also, the force commander of MNJTF, Major General Ibrahim Salahu Ali, said that the support to continue global commitment towards countering insurgency and fostering sustainable peace across the region is a significant boost to regional security. The multinational joint task force, MNJTF, has received support from the European Union for 20 nautical platforms via Congital, a peace and security non-governmental organization. The support for the nautical platforms was presented on 18th August 2023 during a ceremony held in Jamina, Chad. While receiving the platforms, General Ali described the support as a collective desire for peace, stability, and prosperity in the Lake Basin region. He acknowledged further assistance from Congital and the EU in building the capacity of potential operators of the platform in enhancing navigation skills and maintainers. In his remark, the representative of the EU ambassador to Chad, Terry Maretta, stated that the importance the EU places on peace, security, and development necessitates its support for MNJTF. He added that the EU has been providing various support to the mission to ensure a peaceful and prosperous Lake Chad Basin region. Also, the Acting Comptroller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service has called for sustained synergy among the security agencies in dual areas of both border security and migration management to safeguard Nigerians' territorial integrity. She equally said a management training of security agencies at top level cannot be downplayed, especially now with challenges ranging from weapon smuggling, banditry, and other vices that may undermine the nation's security, rearing their ugly heads. Adepoju made this known when participants of the Advanced Security Management Course 3 of the National Institute for Security Studies paid a courtesy visit to the NIS headquarters. Acting Comptroller General of Customs Service Adewale Adeniyi has expressed readiness to improve trade activities in the northern east part of Nigeria. The AGCGC made this known while receiving the Governor of Borno State, Professor Babangana Umar Zulum, on a courtesy in his office in Abuja. According to Customs Boss, the measure will boost the region's economy and provide jobs for the people in the state. The CGC, who appreciated the long-term relationship between the service and Borno State government and border security and humanitarian services, also affirmed his readiness to support victims of terrorism in the state. The Acting Comptroller General assured Governor Zulum of its administration commitment to engage the military to develop new measures to assist in re-establishing the full structure of cross-border trade in the area. The president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, has noted that the 5 billion naira palliative package per state, as announced by the federal government, won't amount to 1,500 naira per person, when shared among over 133 million Nigerians who are multidimensionally poor. Ajaero, who made this known on Friday in an interview on the Politics Today, said there was no way 185 billion would amount to something impactful when shared among 133 million Nigerians who are multidimensionally poor. According to statistics of the Bureau Statistics, the Labour Union leader maintains that even if the funds were converted to the value of 6 trailers of rice, it wouldn't amount to a cup of rice per individual when shared. He added that from the time of the first increment of pump price for petroleum to the last one, more Nigerians had gone beyond the borderline and had slid into a very high level of poverty. You're watching the Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're at StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. We'll be back after this short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's still the Midday News on Global Television. And now in the world of sports, the International Chess Federation, FIDE, has banned transgender women from competing in its women's event, saying the individual cases would require what it calls further analysis, adding that a decision could take up 2 years while the move had been criticized by some players and enthusiasts. The federation said the imposition of the ban is temporary. Many sports governing bodies have been working on policies towards transgender athletes, but chess does not involve comparable levels of physical activities. However, the FIDE says it wanted to analyze the impact of these policies and did not want to rush this process. It added that transgender players could still compete in the open section of its tournament. Also, Nigeria striker Victor Osimhen could score his 60th goal for Napoli as they begin their Scudetto defense on Saturday. Against promoted Frosinone, Osimhen is determined to replicate last season's form in the 2023/2024 season and set a new landmark by scoring a 60th goal for Napoli against the newly promoted side. The Nigerian international has scored 59 goals in 101 appearances for the Penta-Nopir while providing 14 assists across 3 seasons at the club. While the hosts have returned to Italy top flight for the 3rd time in 10 years, their first visitors stormed to the title last term, ending 33 years of wait with Osimhen at the center of the triumph. And lastly, Liverpool have been told that a total of €70 million will be accepted by Crystal Palace if they went to sign Czech Dukro, with Jurgen Klopp ready to ask club bosses to finance the move for the all-action Mali midfielder. The Reds are determined to add further addition to their midfielder after seeing their engine room severely depleted this summer. Indeed, while they have signed Alice's Mark Allister, Dominic Zoboskla, and on Friday, Wuturu Endo, there still remain 3 bodies short on last season. To that end, the Reds were planning for the exit of Naby Keita, James Milner, Otto Melo, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. But what they did not go into the summer expected was the sales of Saward Jordan, Addison, and Fabinho, both of whom jumped into the Saudi Arabia gravy train. And that's it on the Global TV Midday News. We are on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. And on behalf of the production team, I am Judith Peters. Thank you so very much and have a good afternoon.